And to actually get into the application, you tap on the menu. Those little three stripes at the top there is the menu item.
Is the latest version from October?
Yes.
Okay.
So when you tap on the menu, here's what you get. You get some return on investment, you get some machine options. To actually go into the consumables calculation for the machines, you pick one of the 4 categories that describe machines. To get to the ROI calculator, there is an ROI button. And for film data, this is actually going in and saying, for this thickness film, how much is the roll of film going to weigh, the useful pieces of information, but not necessarily cost data. So let's get started with machine type. If you click on machine type, you then get a list of the various machine types that you can consider, and we're going to drill in and talk about film in particular. So if you go to shrink bundling, you have the option of two-roll bundlers, single-roll bundlers, or single roll with printed film, and if you tap on one of those, you get this calculator screen. And very simply, at this point, now you can see here there's already data showing up here. If you go into your app today, these fields will show up with default data in these first 3 fields. The new version, which is in testing right now, has those blank when you first get in, so that it's to eliminate confusion. We found some people got a little confused because it was already data pre-populated here. Going forward, that will be blank. The other change that's happening is that with the new version, once you fill those 3 pieces of information, length, width, and height, that will carry over to all other sizes, all other products. So if I go in and fill out those 3 pieces of information for corrugated, and now I go over and twin roll bundling, the package size stays the same. So you can very easily directly go from one size, the type of product, to another and do the comparison without having to re-enter data. Today, the application we're using for the demo today, you have to re-enter that in each different one. So, as I said, you tap on each of those fields. You tap the clear button down here to remove the existing data, type in the information for that dimension, and then tap on the next field to do the same until you have all 3 of those pieces of information filled in. Okay, so I said tap on clear.
So tap and clear.
Tap on the clear.
Tap, clear, tap, clear. Tap.
And once you've filled in that information, the cost shows up right there at the top. And if you tap that little down arrow button at the bottom there, you can see all the information for that calculation. So that you already filled in the height, width, and length. There are default values in for film thickness and density and price per pound. You can change those. If the customer specifically has, information that, what they're paying for film, etc., you can update those. But the default values that, gives you a quick answer.
I mean, one thing I talked to Brian about, if we can have on the calculator, I don't know if it's going to be on the new one, is the biggest thing. I mean, that's great. The customer's going to see, all right, I got 5 cents for that package. But now he wants to know what's the width of the film that I'm going to be using.
Yeah, it is. It's in the new version.
It will.
Yes.
It'll show the cutoff, so that way. All right.
I don't understand what you're asking. Say again?
Well, the customer, he sees what he's punching
Sees the
in.
answer.
So
but he doesn't see the
we
tools
fill
you got.
in the size of the package.
Yeah.
He's asking what width of film are we assuming?
Right.
And
The
how
customer wants to
long
buy
is
a roll
the
of
piece
film
of
now.
film for that wrap?
Yeah.
And there will be 2 additional fields showing up down here in the new version that have that information.
Now, is it going to be 2/3 the height, or is it going to be just width plus height?
I'm not following your question.
How are
Sorry.
we calculating the film width? There's 2 general formulas that we defer to. You know which one?
I don't know which one, Brian.
Because usually we give the guy both, 2/3 the height and width, and then he decides how big he wants his full size.
Yeah, I don't know which one is in
All right.
I'm sure if you did.
As I said, the ROI calculator, essentially you're filling the same information down here. The other information though is you're setting a goal. So this is, as I said, this is kind of different than what people normally expect in an ROI calculator. What we're saying is, if my if my corporate guideline says that I need to have an ROI of a year or less, you fill in a year here. Okay, and then you fill in, you know, how many workers, what their hourly rate is, et cetera, and the package sizes, and it'll tell you what the maximum investment you can make and still achieve that payback. So, you know, if there's confusion, okay, tapping on the help tab on any one of those screens will give you instructions, explanation of how the dimensions are taken on the product, you know, any kind of clarification is needed. How do you get it? Well, as I told you last night, there's a very simple URL. If you know, certainly if somebody's comfortable going to the iTunes store or the Android Play Store, Google Play Store, they can do that. If you're not comfortable with that, there's a very simple URL here. You can just type into any browser and it'll take you to the appropriate store to get your application.